The Improved Production Racing Association of Victoria is proudly supported by Prestige Hino, Australia's most awarded Hino dealer, 888 Home Loans for all your mortgage needs, ProCut Tree Services, Melbourne's most trusted for tree and stump removals, DLL Photography and Design, complete website and e-commerce solutions, Traction Tyres and Yokohama Motorsport, performance and safety for road or race.
G'day everybody, it's round 3 of this year's Club Championship and we're back here down south at Phillip Island. Importantly, while it's not bone freezing outside, it is a little bit cold and thankfully I get to leave the beanie at home this year. In terms of the Club Championship, while Steve Zorkis is looking pretty handy out in front in under twos, over twos is a completely different story. The man behind me, Adam Poole, was a notable absentee last round, dominated round 1, and consequently, it's created quite a bit of a logjam at the top of the over 2 litre standings with about half a dozen different drivers now in contention. Throw in the fact there's a bit of rain hanging around this weekend and it could be all the ingredients for a pivotal, important moment in this year's Club Championship. Let's see how it turns out. Pole in this morning's session went to Adam Poole. Pooley on pole again here. Not as quick as you've been here before, but I think the track conditions and a bit of distraction from the weather might have had a bit to play in that.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Interesting session. We had a bit of traffic, didn't quite get the slot I wanted when I got out, and obviously a bit wet at the start. Dried off towards the end. I ran off the road on the only clear flyer I had. Actually had turn 1, so hey, it is what it is. P1, pretty happy with that though, so all good, mate. Thank you.
Cade, 4th place on the grid in qualifying. It's got to be your best qualifying result we've seen since you joined IP a couple of years ago. What do you put it down to?
Mate, just steady improvements with the car. We've struggled yesterday in practice with a lot of front end push. We made some changes this morning and we've gotten rid of a lot of it. So there's still a little bit there that the car needs to improve on. But I think conditions, and I think we just got lucky out there today, mate.
Combination of all factors. And what sort of major changes do you put it down to? Anything specific?
No, not really. No, just a little bit of weight out of the car, and that's about it. So.
Paul, unfortunately for you, you've had your fair share of gremlins already this year. Sadly, it's continuing this weekend. What's going on?
Yeah, I had an alternator fail yesterday, so after 50 phone calls, messages, sending photos, I finally got one last night. Got back to the track got back here 9 o'clock last night, and we just got the car ready, 3 minutes to spare before the first practice. So the car's running now, so I'm happy.
Importantly running and hopefully going to go out in, well, I guess we can say what might be a wet race later this afternoon. What do you think about racing in the wet? You enjoy it or you don't like it so much?
I'd rather not be in the wet. The car is not really suited to the wet. It's a bit too stiff in the suspension, but we'll see how we go. So looking forward to the first run.
Sitting in the commentary box in that first race, there was some really entertaining racing going on down the order. You were right smack in the middle of it. How was it for you?
It's probably the best race I've had for a couple of years, I reckon. I've got a little bit of a clutch problem up top, so I'm slipping a little bit, but that was the best fun. I had Marco for the whole race. I had Paulie Gearbox, I had Callum Jensen and Boney, and it was just on. It was on for the whole thing. It was awesome.
It really looked like it was a handful at times for you. You had quite a slide job apparently out of turn 12 as well.
Yeah, I reckon it's about a 170 km/h slide, but I'm not. That doesn't bother me. Like with my speedway background, I just do a bit more of this, and then away you go with it. But yeah, it does drift a lot, and I shouldn't do it because it lets the back tyres off and I die out later on. But it's so much fun. I think Matty Logan was going to come around me up through Lukey Heights because he was coming from behind, and we got up to Lukey Heights, and when he saw the way my car was pointing, he decided it'd be better to pass me later. So that was really good, really good fun. A great bunch of blokes at that race. It was awesome.
Peter, for you, it's a very warm welcome to the IP field for the very first time.
Yeah, thank you very much. I been looking at doing this for a few years, and Steve sort of taught me into it and had a ball.
Well, on top of that, you just mentioned Steve, as in Steve Zorkas, so your car actually has a bit of history because it is his old car from 2018.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we bought it off him 3 years ago, I suppose. Me and my cousin, and then I bought him out, and sort of this was a plan at some stage down the track, and here we are.
Have you done anything sort of with it in between times, like a track day here or there, or?
Yeah, done a couple of track days with Maserati Club, and then we done Challenge Bathurst last year. Done the 6 hour down here, once, and then everything sort of got cancelled. So that's why I would have been doing this probably a couple of years ago.
You enjoying yourself in the club so far?
Oh, having a ball. Yeah, this is sort of the first time, and like a dog with 6 sticks. Like, it's awesome. Yeah, loved it. Yeah.
Michael, talk to us about your race one. From my point of view, your qualifying was very good and your consistency in race one was just as good as your qualifying.
Yeah, we're pretty happy how it went. All of us on the track weren't sure what the conditions were like because it was damp on the apexes and you had to sort of steer clear of some you could sort of persevere with. But Adrian Taranto was the one I was trying to get, and just couldn't get close enough to him on the straight. I'm pulling now with a tailwind nearly 260, which is the fastest this car's ever gone down the straight here. Could not get him by the end of that straight, so that little Audi's flat out. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how my car's going. Yeah.
Luke, we haven't had a chat with you for a little while. You've been doing some slow improvements to the car over the course of the year, but it's been a little bit up and down year for you so far.
Yeah, it has. At Winston, the car was really good from a chassis point of view, and then we had a tail shaft failure, which was quite frustrating because it was good. But around here, I'm struggling with it a bit. The car's a bit of a hound. We've changed a bit of stuff in the front end, and it hasn't given us the result we're sort of hoping for. So, just working through it. But I probably needed a test day before I come here, but it's going okay. I won't complain. We're near enough to the pointy end.
Yeah, you were talking to me earlier in the weekend that you sort of changed a few things with the front track, so you're getting nice turn in for the car, but then you're having a bit of an argument with the rear doesn't like what the front's doing.
Yeah, and then we sorted that out and sorted the rear out, but then it's given a heap of understeer again. It's the window for it's like really knife edge. It's either pushy or taily. I'm having trouble finding the sweet spot with the new bits in the front end of it. So, but we'll get there. It's never give up with it. We'll just chip away at it, and hopefully it'll be right by Sandown.
Matt, you've had a bit of an interesting weekend. You threw an alternator belt in the morning session on Saturday, and you've had a bit of a trouble getting back up the pointy end of the grid since.
Yeah, we threw a belt off in the first fast lap in qualifying, which ended that session, but and then had fuel pressure issues in race one. So.
And then on top of that, you actually drove from the back of the grid this morning up to about halfway through the field, considering there was only 2.5 laps of green flag running in a 5-lap race.
Yeah, no, it went all right. There's a couple of little tight spots, but we sort of got through that and kept going, yeah.
Now, important matters. I know you've been building another car for a little while and we haven't seen it yet. How's that going, and when can we expect to see it on track?
I've personally given up building it, so I've allocated that to someone else to finish, so we might see that early next year.
Here with long-time member and someone who hasn't been here for quite a while, and Michael Hopp. It's been, was it 2016 was the last time we saw you here for the Phillip Island Nationals for the improved production?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so 2016 was our last event here at Phillip Island with the Starlet. And yeah, it's been a while. I try to stay with IPRA, and yeah, I've been a financial member since '98. So yeah, continue to be a member and continue to run the Starlet. We just, with the Bathurst is always one of the races we like to do, and our focus has been on the production car racing with the Suzukis. So
the important thing, the Suzuki does fit into the 3J regs quite nicely. Last year, Malcolm Smith was at the wheel. This year, he got his son, Shane Smith, down here 12 months later.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. So, look, Shane's been with the race team since he's been 15 years old, and we've given him an opportunity now to actually step in the car and do some racing, and, mate, he's doing a bloody good job. So, bit worried about this 10-lapper coming up. He's chasing me down, so, yeah.
On top of that, they're still working towards getting off their piece so they can do the 6 hour. They didn't get a chance to do it last year, but you're sort of targeting next year for the pair of them?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, last year with that COVID, with the Victoria going into lockdown straight after the Phillip Island round. So didn't get an opportunity to do those last 2 rounds and get them off their P's and get more signatures. So yeah, we're working on that program this year, get them more signatures and get them in the Suzukis up at Bam Panorama and circulate up there.
In under twos, the lead driver was Steve Zorkis. Steve, you were mixing it up quite a lot there with Adrian Taranto and Graham McPherson for most of the races this weekend. How did it go from your perspective?
Yeah, we had a really good time with them. Graham and I raced close yesterday, this morning and this afternoon, and Adrian was in the mix too, and 3 different cars. It's always good to see the strengths and weaknesses throughout the track, and yeah, I think we put on a good show, I hope.
Yeah, from my perspective, you put on a fantastic show. Quite a fair distance ahead of the next under 2 in Paul Javots, though.
I think Paul had a problem yesterday with the alternator, and it would have been good to have him up a bit further, and yeah, I hope he had a good race too.
Second place overall for the weekend is Jared Tonks. Jared, solid as always. Didn't look like there was any real mistakes from you out there, and the Ravage boys continue to give you a really good, solid car.
Thanks for that, Steve. Yeah, the car's been great all weekend. I had a couple of good battles in the first 2 races with Luke and Cruz, which was good fun, racing. And the last one, was able to get a break early, and the car pace was good, and I was able to avoid the oil, and I was really happy with my last race to finish second for the weekend.
What was it like spotting the oil that was out there on the circuit left by the V's? Was it easy to pick up, or was it a bit of a trouble?
It was easy to pick up where they'd laid the sand and that over where it was, but there was a couple of spots they missed coming up to the last corner, but you could spot it with the sun. So, but it got better as the race went on with the more cars going over it.
First place overall for the weekend is Adam Poole. Adam returned with the bang after missing Winton through, I think he had some family commitments. But my highlight of you for the weekend was leaving those 11s on the starting line and then still making turn 1 in first place.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. You put the mockers on me at Sandown a few years ago, actually. My starts have been crap since then, so thank you for that. But yeah, look, good weekend. 3 wins, I'm pretty happy. The car's going fast. We got real close to the record in race 2. Then the track was pretty rubbishy, so there wasn't much time in it. But look, big thank you to Ravage for keeping the car going, my wife Michelle, and our kids at home. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
It's been a good weekend of improved production racing here at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, with some of the battles really highlighting the differences in car performance and how they can all hang together over the course of a lap. The championship leader Adam Poole from round 1 has returned with a vengeance and now puts himself back in the mix for the club championship this year. We've got a pretty big gap though. We've got 13 weeks until we next go racing in August at Sandown, and we look forward to seeing you then. Until then, it's bye for now.